So a couple of questions. Number one, basically about an ex-Muslim who still believes in God but hates Islam.
So let's turn it into rapid fire. So I'm an ex-Muslim but still believe in a God. Well, then
Yeah.
obviously you're still in a journey. But and I think people who only they only become ex-Muslim but they can't let go of the idea of a God. I think that's generally because they only have a problem with the morality aspect of Islam. But there's so many other problems in Islam, and those problems are not exclusive to Islam. Those problems exist in pretty much every religion, such as any evidence for any God, who's this God, where did he come from, why did he create everything? And when we look at their respective scriptures, the answers we get are kind of answers that you would give to a 2-year-old, at least in this day and age. So yeah, you probably still hold certain biases that, well, someone must have created the universe, so but it can't be Allah, but it can be Yahweh or something, or it can be Krishna. So I would say look into the arguments against all these gods the same way you looked into the arguments against Muhammad's character.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. No, I love that answer. And I agree with Horace. I think you're still pretty much on a journey. And I know a lot of people, once you realize Islam is not the truth, you still want that hope and you want to cling on to a God or that kind of concept or that safety blanket. So you do still want to hold on to, I would interchange God with the word hope there, that there is maybe an afterlife and you'll see your family again and all of those things. Again, as Horace was saying, the exact same arguments that apply to Islam do transpose onto all of them. So definitely do look into that. And just a small anecdotal experience from my own experience when I left Islam, I think because you realize how deeply you've been lied to and what a con this is, I was so almost repulsed by the idea of having fallen for something like Islam that I automatically was like, why should I go into the hands of any other God or supposed religion or ideology? And I was like, I am not going to follow anything now blindly that, unless there's good evidence backing it. So that completely steered me clear of any other like dogmas or religion, so to speak. But as we said before, like there's a huge existential element there. So some people latch onto the concept of God for hope, but definitely do look into arguments about living life without that concept of God, because it seems daunting, but honestly, it's extremely liberating. And it's not far-fetched to think that you can live a very good, wholesome, fulfilling life, a good moral life, be a good human being without the need for a God. Okay, question 2, and Armin can join in and jump in to answer these at any point he joins. How to deal with being ostracized in the Muslim community.
So the first question was, I am an ex-Muslim, but I still can't let go of the idea of God.
Okay, well then you're not an ex-Muslim for the right reasons.
Savage, Armin, straight in with the savage.
So if you're not an ex-Muslim atheist.
No, I mean, yeah, you just emotionally decided that you just don't like Islam because it's just not the right vibe. It's not, you didn't leave Islam for rational reasons. It just didn't match your mood or so whatever. You just like, so it just didn't feel right. That's
I said that you probably didn't like the morality in Islam because that's a low-hanging fruit that you could just point out Muhammad's private life.
Every kind of morality is excusable if you have God. When you have magic on your side, you could excuse everything.
Yeah, true. All right, next question.
Okay,
what was the next question?
2, guys. How to deal with being ostracized in the Muslim community. So this patron, just to give a little bit of context, has had to actually relocate cities in the UK to get as far as possible away from his respective Muslim community and start a new life. So I think that's the context behind the question.
Okay, so I would quickly say, so if he's in the UK, so I would simply say that there are plenty of places in the UK where you can go start a new life, where you can live. There's so many beautiful countryside places in the UK. If you can, obviously, you still need to work and it has to be feasible. But make your average non-Muslim British friends, and very quickly you'll actually forget about them. When you have John and Matthew and Paul as your best friends.
Jesus, the apostles. Great.
Well, mine is a religion. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a full slip, maybe. So, if you have those as friends, and usually you get to make these friends at your workplace. So, then very quickly, I mean, I remember that, like when I came to Australia 19, I had one token Pakistani friend initially. I call him my ex-best friend. But anyway, but then I found some other Aussie friends as well, and I've remained friends with them to this day. And to me, the Muslim community, I would go on certain occasions. I would go to certain Muslim, which I haven't done in a long time now because I'm more disconnected now. But even at that point, it didn't make any difference to me. So try to distance yourself from the Muslim community and make other non-Muslim friends.
So yeah, basically what I would say is again, I'll say along the same lines as what Haris was saying, but to be honest, I'm not really one to say like the first thing. If you can kind of like coexist and come to some common ground, it's always nicer to be able to like, you know, still be around people that you love and your like friends and where you grew up. But there comes a point where when you do decide like you want to leave Islam behind, the atmosphere gets so toxic. And kind of trying to just live out your normal life without being judged or pressured to pray or fast or go to the mosque or whatever. That, and in these communities in the UK specifically, they are so like internally policing that it gets very, very overwhelming. Like the whole community, everyone's trying to prove that they're more Muslim than the other. There's that whole competition for piety. So I would say sometimes, and in my own experience, it's best to just acknowledge when it is toxic, make a clean break. And as Haris was saying, plenty of cities in the UK where it's a lot more of a cosmopolitan, diverse feel. And sometimes you genuinely have just got to put your foot down, put yourself first, put your life first. If you've got the means to get a job anywhere, genuinely, if you're young, go ahead and start a new life there, because those ties will eventually take a toll on your mental health and you just won't be able to live like life to your optimal potential that you would want to. So yeah, go make new friends, see the world, move if you have to, because whether it's family or friendships, you have to call out toxicity wherever it does exist. And leaving religion behind is one of those most sensitive taboo topics, especially in parts of the UK where I would never even dare to venture. So yeah, I think that's definitely the right call, clean break.
Wait, can I get a reminder? Was the question specifically from an ex-Muslim that has toxic, like they have identified the friends that they have are toxic, or?
Well, they come from an area in the UK which is extremely like heavily Muslim dominated, and so they actually felt like after a certain point they had to move cities because they couldn't even express their thoughts. That's why, I mean, they listen to us secretly. They kind of become a patron to get these general questions out. This person told me that they have nobody else they can relay these thoughts to. And this is crazy when you think about the UK context. We have the Council of Ex-Muslims Britain. We've got all these support groups. But still, if you're in that little bubble, it can get so suffocating. But yeah, thoughts?
I mean, okay, so I cannot relate that much because I get all my, like, in my offline world, I don't really have that many friends, right? So I get all my social needs online, right? So I can't relate to people who need that offline that much because I don't need that much. So I don't know if I'm the best person to ask, because I think like this online world is just has opened the door to you to just making so many friends and just talking to so many people regardless of where you're living. So to me it just seems like it doesn't really matter. Like if it was me, again, this is not good advice because this is just me, right? To me, I could be living in the middle of an entire group of people that have nothing in common with me. As long as I have Wi-Fi, I'm okay. I could find friends all around the world and talk to them nonstop and just like share with them anything I want. Like, so it doesn't really matter where physically I'm living. But I understand people are not like that. People need to go out and be face to face and meet people physically. So if they need that, then I guess I'm moving. Oh, so if you need to move, then I guess you need financial independence, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, getting online jobs are really good. If you could find online jobs, then you become very mobile. You could just move wherever you want. So that's very helpful. One thing I do suggest, if your Muslim friends are not giving you a lot of okay, strategically, I have to think about it strategically as an atheist activist. I would like it if ex-Muslims made an effort to be friends with Muslims, okay? And not just go out and be friends with ex-Muslims or atheists, right? Because part of our activism is to normalize atheism, right? And that would require being seen by Muslims and Christians as friends and family members and co-workers and fellow students and stuff like that. Like just like they LGBT community was eventually, a lot more normalized than, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 years ago, because a lot of people realize, oh, my friend is gay, or my boss is gay, or this celebrity is gay, right? And I'm friends with them, and I don't look that, I like this guy, right? So I think, like, if a lot of Muslims, because for a lot of Muslims, the idea of an ex-Muslim is like somebody who is evil or like completely lost their mind, right? But if more Muslims had ex-Muslim friends who they liked, then it really would help in the process of normalization of
Yeah, in
leaving
fact,
Islam. Or
Armin, I would go as far as to say it's so fun having Muslim friends because, like, every time you meet, you can constantly just chip away a little bit at their religion. And, like, I find my
right,
Muslim friends now, when they're talking to me, they actually defend, like, their lack of Muslimness. They're like, oh, I said that, but I don't really mean it like that. And I'm like, it's okay if you say it, go ahead.
right.
But yeah, it's always a fun time. And
Well,
exactly, that's a powerful combination. You're right.
yeah, so like, I think a lot of people think our activism is focused on making people leave religion, okay? But that is like the ultimate win, but that is not the only win, right? That's a small circle of our victory, right? I don't know, there's a lot, but it's a small percentage of our victory. A bigger circle than people that just abandon their religion altogether are people that keep their religion, but they're not as sure about it as they used to be. Like, they're only 99% sure about it. They used to be 100% sure about it, but now they're just only 99% sure about it. And that like this small seed of doubt is really effective in making sure that people value this life and don't sacrifice things for the next one. Like, that seed of doubt is very important, right? And it's a long-term investment. And then a bigger circle than that, right? So a small circle, medium circle, the largest circle of our activism, which has the highest success rate, are people that don't even get that seed of doubt, still are 100% sure about their religion, but now they're accepting people who have left their religion. They used to think we're all evil, but like, they're still 100% sure about Islam, but they are okay with having an ex-Muslim friend. That is the largest circle. It's the easiest win, and it's still a win.
So very quickly, I want to make a quick point because I think I was the first one to go, so that's why maybe it sounded a bit politically incorrect. So I was simply saying specifically for this person who actually feels threatened around people. For example, when I went through East London, when I went through what's that place, Ilford. Fair enough. I'm an ex-Muslim with activist, so someone could recognize me. But it's not a good feeling if you think that you confided to a friend, and he might tell his other friends, and then very quickly within your postcode, everyone knows that you are an ex-Muslim or an atheist or a heretic. Then watching over your back is not a good feeling. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, out of 100, maybe one might confront you. 100 Muslims, or maybe one or two might confront you and say, hey, well, bro, what's going on? But that is still not a good feeling, living in paranoia that someone might come here and then maybe, do something to you. So to avoid that, if you feel threatened, it's always a good idea. I would say the same thing to if someone is a homosexual and is living in a community where there are a lot of homophobes around, where they yell out homophobic slurs or whatever, the right on the walls, graffiti on the walls or whatever. Even then, I would give the same advice to them for that, rather if you feel threatened. I mean, if you feel like, okay, you have time and energy to stand there and fight and make an argument, that's even better. But that's why specifically to that person. So if you think that there's going to be a problem in that community, don't be friends with them. Go somewhere else. Anyway, or be a social recluse like Armin Navabi.
Yes, yeah. No, completely right. I wasn't suggesting to go be a hero and accept all the costs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't have to do that.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.